Hey, it's Catherine here from Moonstarlodge, and I have a little quick update video, more or less, on some new decks that have made their way into the lodge, and I wanted to share some of my thoughts and sheer giddy excitement, for as giddy as I can get these days. It's a wild and woolly, weird weather day here in Tiny as we film this, and we thought we better get the filming done before we potentially lost our power. So let's flip the camera, Brian. All right. So I've waited for months for some of these decks, and I'm going to do the weekly reading for December 12th, I think it is, 12th through the 17th. No, what is tomorrow, Brian?
12.
Yeah, the 12th through the 17th. And it's going to be with the Shadowland grouping. But in addition to the Shadowland, I have here something called the Land Back Tarot, which is, for some, a highly political deck. It's arrived from Auntie Kay, and Auntie Kay has, her name is Krista Damour Flute, and she has a tarot channel called Auntie Kay's Tarot, and it's very, very clear. This woman has a clarity unlike many readers, and to the point. One of the areas she's very clear on is getting some of the colonialist imagery and politics out of tarot so that it makes it more acceptable to individuals. This is actually a 78 card tarot and a 22 card oracle together in this box, and this is the wonderful workbook that comes with it. So there are very few copies left. If you're interested in Indigenous studies as it relates to the tarot, I would ask you to support her, and I will give Brian the link to put in the description that you can get this. And this is in Ontario, so you're not looking at waiting weeks and weeks for shipping. So I'm just going to slip this to the side for a moment. The other deck I just received today and have an extra copy of in the studio is this Earthcraft Tarot. Sorry, it's an oracle. And initially I saw it on the Hay House site, and it wasn't available, and I wasn't all that interested until I had noted to myself here that it was Juliet Diaz. And I realized I had other Juliet Diaz decks, the Seasons of the Witch Yule and the Seasons of the Witch Samhain. And there's another one, one can pre-order it actually already on Amazon, and it's the Beltane one. So anyway, when I realized this was the same Juliet Diaz, I decided to get myself a copy of this deck. So I'm just going to push these two out of the way for the moment. And I want to show you some of the cards here. So this is a 44 card deck in terms of cards that are numbered. And then there is a 45th card rather, not a fifth card. I'll be all right. These are gorgeous. This is a different art style than the Seasons of the Witch, but they relate to the turning of the wheel, the 8 seasons. So you have darkness, you have death, you have karmic debt, you have medicine woman, for example, offerings, rise, you have the positions. Here's river woman, the run with wolves, sacred temple, sacrifice, the sight of owl, soul loss. So there are shamanic elements. Here's spirit of the east, spirit of the north, Spirit of the South, Spirit of the West, Spirit Weaver, Spiritual Journey. So this is a glorious deck, and I literally opened it less than an hour ago. So I will do a better deep dive on another day with this deck once I've had a chance to actually work with it. But I feel connected to it already, and this is not something I usually feel. I usually have to work with a deck for quite a while before I actually get into it. So back to Shadowland here. This is the whole set, and literally I nearly wet myself when this arrived at the door. FedEx actually sent it over to a neighbor's place, and so I'd waited and waited and was getting very frustrated. But anyway, as you know, that Monica Badirsky is an amazing artist in Toronto, has a YouTube channel, and the Shadowland Tarot was picked up by Schiffer Red Feather some time ago, and I've used it a little bit on our channel here, but I haven't done as much as I thought I should, simply because Monica uses her deck weekly on her own channel, and people are asking me all the time. But over the months and years that I have followed Monica, let me just get this out of the box, and these are some fun things that have come from Monica over time. So I'm going to move that. And how I got to know about Monica, I don't remember, but I just know that I saw the House of Shadows. This is 3rd edition here. This is 4th edition. This is 5th edition, and these are all limited number editions. There are still a few of the number 5 edition on her site, and her brand new oracle is the Bat's Blood ink. But there was a 1 and 2 edition, which I didn't know about Monica until I stumbled upon her and this 3rd edition. And it's a Lenormand. So we know in a classic Lenormand there are 36 traditional cards, and they don't vary from deck to deck. The artwork varies, but the cards themselves do not. The thing that I love about Monica's work is with every iteration of this original House of Shadows, she had added some additional cards. So, for example, here's your rider, done in her inimitable style, and we go right up to number 36 here, which is always the cross. There we go. And these first 36 cards are the same in these first 5 editions. But each edition had 6 additional cards. So Mandrake, Lantern, Hand, Poppet, Ghost, and Ancestors. These were the 6 additional cards in this particular edition. Okay, so this was the 3rd edition. And there was a downloadable, or there is a downloadable booklet. Okay, so the downloadable booklet was there. So this is the 4th edition. And so again, the first 36 cards are the same for the Lenormand. And then we have, this was my my card here. So there's number 36, the cross. 37 was the creeper. 38, community. 39, shelter. 40, dolls. 41, memorial. And 42, harvest. So that's that deck. Then the 5th edition, as I say, there are still a few of the 5th edition. And the numbering for this, it's hard to read, but it's in gold pen. She numbered it on the outside of the box in this instance. This one is number 16 out of 200. This is the 5th edition. So here we start with the rider and we go all the way through to the, I seem to always land on the anchor here, anchor and cross. And here we have cat, moonflower, autumn, pixies, gnarly looking little dudes, potions, and imagine. So one day I sent Monica a message and I asked if there was a way to get the extra cards that were in the 2nd edition, which, as I say, came out before I knew about her. And I guess great minds think alike or something, because Monica said she was working on a deck that included no Lenormand cards specifically, but all of the extras, I believe, are in here, and so 6 new ones. So this is still available on Monica's website. So we have some totally gnarly characters here. Gender neutral, non-binary people, but all of these, there are some of the familiar cards from the previous decks, which is what I wanted, but there are some additional, many additional cards, like tree here. Here's mandrake. Some of them were redrawn. Here's fish. Here's those wacky pixies again. Snakes. This is like an ancestor, ghost kind of guy. A bunny, a kind of a bunny, a fake bunny, and a scarecrow, raven holding a heart, and so on. I'm just getting to learn this deck because I have just received it. So some of the cards I knew, like dolls from the other decks, but here's a shell for Space to Retreat. Here's cat. And these ones don't have the written word symbolizing them on it. So it's a getting to know and a getting to interpret to some degree in your own way. But in this instance, there is a PDF which I downloaded. It was 24 pages, 3-hole punched it, put it in this book, so I can carry it around with me as I get to learn this deck. So I have the best of all these systems here. But the pièce de résistance for me, let me just move that out of the way. This is the one that came yesterday. So it's the same basic 36 cards, but in the larger format with a full book. It's not a PDF. And these are the original 36 cards, now painted and colored. And they are stunning. And they are wonderful cardstock. Schiffer Red Feather doesn't screw around with crappy cardstock like some manufacturers. So this was just a quick video to show you that these are out and available. You can order this from Schiffer, Schiffer Red Feather, and it's available on their website. It used to say that it was available on Amazon, and then Amazon has indicated that it was not available and they didn't know when. But I know from time to time Monica has on her website directly things that you can buy. Here's the bag, which I just pulled the ribbon out of. Good thing I have the means to put it back. I have a pin that I put on here as well. And she, from time to time, gets these beautifully, very well made clay cloths. And what I like about the clay cloth is it's not very busy with a lot of imagery. It's just got the moon cycle and then the beautiful bat there. So anyway, I just thought I would show you these things. You can flip it, Brian. And this is just a quick review of some of the decks that I've got in. We've brought in a whole lot of other decks for the end of this year. There's only one little period from about mid-November until about mid-December, December 10th maybe, that I can get wholesale decks and pass on the savings to our students and supporters here at the lodge. So we just received another shipment today, and we have another couple of small shipments coming in this week. So we have lots of decks here if you're interested, but not these decks that I've shown you today, but others. The only one that we do have coming in, a couple more copies, is this Earthcraft. So that's it. Very exciting. I guess I didn't show you some of the land back, but I'm going to do a deep dive into the land back tarot, and we'll make sure that that link gets put in the description. So Miigwech, Yawen, we're getting real close to that full moon on the 18th and solstice, so strap on your bonnets and get ready to fly. All right.